What a treat. I see some more older, better friends. Welcome. We're going to hear now from Bill Wright, who's going to read from different works. I believe one short story, When Marquita Gets Home, which is from the older work from Men on Men 3, which is an anthology, Best New Gay Fiction, as well as a more recent work on Sakia Gunn. So welcome, Bill. I actually didn't read your bio. Let me just say this. Bill is the author of When the Black Girl Sings, a Junior Library Guild selection, and Sunday You Will Learn How to Box. You Learn How to Box, which is one of Booklist's best adult books for teens, a New York Public Library best book for the teen age, a Coretta Scott King Celebrating the Dream book, and on the LAA's list of books for gay teens. Thank you, Bill, and now I'm going to introduce him.
Hello. I'm also very honored to be here, honored to be asked. That was sensational and very, very inspirational. I come from a family that really embraced the sense of family and real kind of old school, we are American Negroes, and we should be preserving who we are. So the whole idea of going back to look at some photographs of grandparents and great-grandparents is actually very, very inspirational. And I also have one of those boxes, so thank you for that. I also thought that I would take a look backwards. Usually when I'm asked to speak, certainly in the business of publishing, people are very interested in what is most current. We always want to be on the cutting edge. And if you're reading anything that seems at all antiquated, people are saying, oh, wasn't very current, wasn't very cutting edge. But I actually have been writing for a while. And when I first started writing, actually I'm reading one of the first things that was published in Men on Men 3. And actually the first things that I wrote about were politics within the family, because those were the first things that I understood, the conversations that I had about sexuality, about gender, as well as race, were within the family. So I wanted to give you a sense of scope, so I think it's fitting that I'm going back to one of the earlier things, as I said, that was published in '90, but written about the '60s, and then the second one is very current. This is When Marquita Gets Home. This is sections from it. Marquita was tired of wiping sweat from between her breasts. The little hanky she'd had since 7th grade was too damp to do any good, but Marquita kept it in her fist, letting her own body's water trickle out through the cloth and down her dirty fingers. She wasn't working hard. If she'd been working hard, everything would be sweating. She'd have taken off her cross and pulled her hair up off her neck. No, she just wanted to be out here looking busy. She was waiting for Gabriel. She wanted him to try to leave this house tonight so she could tell him just a little bit of something he could take with him. When men from off the avenue would walk up behind her and talk about her backside and ask about her Saturday evening plans, Marquita would straighten up quickly from the front stoop weeds she'd been half-heartedly pulling and grab the dampness of her skirt from between her legs. Bastards. It might have been for the men who'd passed, but Marquita knew damn well who she meant it for. All day, Knowing Gabriel and that other boy was laying up in that room had caused her lunch to repeat. She allowed herself one more sponging inside the bodice of her dress. I'm about to choke to death out here. Her hand slid up to her neck. I shouldn't even be in all this weeds and crabgrass and mess. Still, the strength to go inside would not come. Climbing the subway steps, Marquita had become so unsteady on her heels, they seemed to want to run out from under her, leaving her in midair with this awful gagging feeling in her stomach and throat. But it's my house, damn it. She'd made her way upstairs to the stoop, jabbing key after key into the brownstone door. It flat refused to open, as though it had been given orders not to let her in. She stood away from it, glaring, when she heard footsteps coming at her from inside. She stumbled backwards like she'd been punched, and her purse opened up with all the change and tokens running every which way. She'd have to wait till morning to go hunting and searching through the grass, though, probably before she left for church. Now she just wanted to know what was keeping them so long. She wanted them to come through that door so she could put Gabriel's tail on real straight before he took it wherever they were going. Inside 490 Ansonia, Gabriel Goodney grinned at having to turn back into his room. The boy had laughed softly in his ear with his tongue and said, "Don't feel like you got no drawers on, mister." Gabriel had forgotten himself. True, nearly a half hour had passed since they'd started out, but dusk had brought shadows to the boy's face that Gabriel had not seen before, and he'd wanted him naked again. Then, in the time he thought they had before Marquita came home, he'd combed the boy's hair and washed his face with kisses. I've never had anybody in my own bed before. He thanked himself, smiling into the boy's stomach. We've got to get out before Marquita gets home. Coming down the hall, he heard his sister's keys beating against the lock. He heard her drop them and curse. He knew she was out there waiting. Damn, Gabriel grinned. If only we hadn't gotten started that last time. I hate summertime, Marquita spit down at the dandelions. Summertime, people get so foolish from the heat they cause Jesus to look the other way. That's what Daddy would say. It was the only reference Marquita remembered her father ever making to Jesus. Even with curse words, Ernest Goodney didn't use Jesus' name. Most people Marquita knew called Jesus when they cursed. Ernest Goodney didn't. Jesus was looking the other way when Marquita's daddy wrapped himself and his truck around a railing on the concourse in the Bronx only 2 Augusts ago. He'd been trying to avoid killing someone too drunk to drive and too stupid not to. Marquita winced and thought again of her brother. I'd done the best I could to take care of that fool. She pulled at the elastic on her panties, but I won't work my body to the bone in him laying up like a woman with some man, not in my daddy's house. When Gabriel came through the door, he looked like his daddy. He stepped out onto the stoop, chest first, sneakers untied, and his shirt tail out. Bastard, Marquita called at him without opening her lips. And when she did open them, she said only his name, and the sky in Brooklyn looked like rain. How you doing, Marquita? Gabriel turned a penny from heads to tails in his pocket. The boy stood behind him like a pretty shadow. I'm tired, Gabriel, and I dropped my stuff all out my purse in the grass. Damn it, why did she sound like she was whining? She wasn't supposed to be whining. We could help you, Marquita. Bet you we could find it all. No. She wasn't sure if it was the sound of her voice or thunder. Well, we're going to the movies then. Marquita looked down into her dress. For the first time today, her skin looked dry, parched, ready to crack and tear away from her body like dried mud. You've been laying up with that sissy since 4 o'clock this morning. Her teeth bit down so hard her gums ached. Still, she could not open her mouth. When you go out of this yard with that boy, don't you ever bring him back. A wind picked up her skirts, and her legs looked suddenly at the street. Marquita belched up a sneer. Don't give a damn. Let the whole world see my ass. Well, go on then, Gabriel. You and your friend go on to the movies. Gabriel thought he must still be asleep, must be dreaming with the boy's legs wrapped too tight around his head. He and the boy seemed to move out into the world like the wind was carrying them too fast to move any one part of their bodies. He did look back once before they flew down into the subway. Marquita reminded him of a postage stamp stuck in the corner of a big brown envelope, unable to move or turn around. Marquita Goodney felt like the girl with the pigtails in The Wizard of Oz. Here she was with a tornado coming, and wasn't nobody home. She was scared in an hour or two the roof would blow all over the damn place. Everything she owned would be upside down. She didn't have a dog to tell or take with her. Marquita fell back on her stoop, folding and unfolding her hands around her handkerchief. She was waiting for the tornado. Thank you. And this, as I said, is more current. This is based on a reality, a nightmare too epic to be called an incident, and too present to be called a memory. Braid, cornrow, Nubian twist. T could do hair real good. That's how she made her little money. People go over her house, she go over theirs. She could do it in a playground outside school if she had to, but when she was finished, you knew it was worth paying for, and she didn't never ask for much, so you gave her whatever it was and felt good about it. That night, when we was going to the city, she said, "Valencia, you know you should have let me do your hair." And she was right. So I said, "Fix it on the train then, T," because that's what I call her. But she wasn't having that. She said, "I'm a professional. I'm not doing nobody's hair on the train." So we laughed. But I still wish I had got her to do my hair that night. 3:30, we downtown Newark, waiting for the 4 o'clock bus home. Been to the Village in the city. So no matter how late it is, we feeling like we done something. What you gonna tell us? T said, "You know your mama wouldn't let your 15-year-old self be out all night with anybody else but your big cousin T." And I rolled my eyes, because T ain't nothing but 15 herself. We waiting. Good time and no good time, the party is over. I want to go home, get me some rest. Here come white station wagon. Gets closer. We see it slowing down. I look, I say, "Oh no, here come a car with some stank men looking to start some mess." Car pull up. Man look out his window. He say, "Hey y'all." None of us want to say nothing, but somebody say real quiet and down like, "Hey." I remember, because I look over my shoulder like, "Why you want to say anything to him?" Man say, "Y'all look good." This time, nobody saying nothing. It's quiet. No cars coming, nothing. Man say, "Y'all ain't looking that good to be acting like that." And T, she kind of step a little in the front of the rest of us, and she say, "We ain't trying to look good for you. We lesbians, man. All of us, lesbians." And he say, "Dang, you dykes? Whoa, word, for real? Y'all ain't dykes. Why you want to play that?" So I'm laughing now because I figure he's a fool. T told him, and he don't want to believe us. And now what's he going to do with all of us? And we told him we were dykes. And he say again, "Dang, dykes." And T say, Yeah, that's right. All dykes. So drive on. And she do her hand like this. And we laugh, because they fools. But when we start laughing, I see his face change. He opened up the car door, step out. I look to see if any other cars coming down the road. Ain't nothing but these two men and us. And T, she's there kind of in the front, but closest to him is this other girl who ain't said nothing to him. And he grabs her around her throat. The whole time he's saying, "Who you think you laughing at, dyke? You the dyke? Who you think you laughing at?" And we all screaming. Even the other man in the car is screaming, "You crazy, man, what you doing?" And he reaches into his pocket. He got one hand on the girl up under her chin like this, but he reaching into his pocket with the other, and he got a knife. And T, she saw it too. She was already about to jump into that man, but I know she saw it because we all did. And he turned. He looked T in her face like he didn't need no knife. But she was coming for him anyway. He let go of the other girl and grabbed T, jammed that knife up against her throat. But she was like a crazy animal, like she knew wasn't about 30 seconds between her being here and never being here again. And she punched him hard. She made this sound like, "This is all I got." And he took his knife and went into her chest. I saw both faces. One had hate pulling at his eyes and mouth, spit running down his chin, whole face full of hate. Other looked like she was saying, "I ain't going down for you. You can't make me go down for you. I ain't going nowhere for you." Man jumped in his car. One of the girls went out to the road. If you told me it was the whole next night before somebody came and stopped for us, I'd say you were telling the truth. But car stopped. Me and T were in the back. So much blood. I couldn't stop looking at her face. I wanted her to keep that same expression, like she wasn't going nowhere. I say, "T, you're gonna be all right. You just gotta hold on." And part of me thought maybe if there was a miracle or something, it would be true. But part of me, I think I knew I might be lying. But you know how it is when you tell somebody a lie because you figure that's all the hope you got. So you lie with that hope. I said, "Hold on, T. Hold on." She had her eyes closed mostly. But one kept on kind of blinking. And I told myself that was her life. That was a sign that as long as that eye kept blinking, she had a chance. So she blinked. I said, "Hold on, T." She blinked. I said, "Hold on." I think I knew when we got to the hospital that I think I knew. But I didn't want to let them take her from me. I wish I had got her to do my hair that night.